Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Interesting question. If the government raises money and says we're going to use the money for this purpose, especially if they buy land, and they don't use the land for that purpose, is there anything you can do about it? And how wrong is that? So Ray sent me a story, so Steve, check this out of Pennsylvania. Emergency injunction sought as Upper Pottsgrove starts construction on new town hall. Evan Brandt wrote this for the Mercury. The residents suing the township to prevent the construction of a municipal complex planned for land purchased for open space protection filed a request for an emergency injunction after the township announced it would begin construction and moved some equipment to the site. A former state rep, an attorney for several people here, who filed the lawsuit to stop the project, filed Tuesday's request. She wrote, relief is warranted on an emergency basis because in the absence of immediate court intervention, the township will use bulldozers, earth-moving, paving, and grading equipment to ruin the open space benefits of the farm to begin construction of a municipal complex on land meant to be permanently preserved as open space. So they're saying that the town bought the property and said this will be open space. And then once they got it, said, you know what belongs there? A new municipal complex, which is not open space. The township officials, of their own deliberate, calculated volition, created this emergency and thrust it upon the defendants by choosing the farm, a permanently protected open space, as the site for a municipal complex, and then ignoring the protests of their own open space committee and members of the public at public meetings and in the press, and after filing a motion for judgment on the pleadings, which was not granted to authorize construction to begin. So this is a little confusing as to who's suing who and for what, but the point is that litigation is there. Now, I've mentioned before that if you file a lawsuit against somebody, you can ask for money damages if you've been harmed. So, if someone breaks a contract, you can sue and try to get your, lost profits or something back. However, if they're going to do something for which money damages aren't adequate, you can seek equitable relief. I've talked about this before. So if they file the lawsuit and say, we want the space to be preserved. If during the lawsuit, the municipality goes ahead and develops this municipal complex there, and then the court comes by later and goes, okay, we're going to rule in favor of the people who don't want the complex. Well, the complex is there now. What are you going to do? Tear it down? Now, arguably, you've heard of situations where that has happened. House gets built without a permit. House gets built in the wrong spot. But it's a little different when it's a huge municipal complex run by the government to say, okay, tear that down. So it's easier to say, hang on, hold off just a little bit, park the bulldozer, just a little bit here to figure out who's going to win this, and then go from there. So now they're suing simply to stop it while they figure this all out. So the clients here have, in good faith, pursued litigation in an effort to get a court ruling that the township is violating state law and proceeding to construct a new municipal complex on the farm, but the defendants have ignored this court and begun construction. Surveyors were on the site taking measurements just the other day. So there's people out there taking survey measurements. What are they doing? Probably drawing the dotted lines in the ground where they're going to start building. On the township website, an announcement was posted saying, please be advised that this week, the township will begin work on the first stage of the municipal complex that the Board of Commissioners approved in August of 2022. The work is the first stage of the design and will consist of placing a parking lot, as well as recreational and aesthetic supporting items. The township's Public Works Department will perform the task as they have with other parking lots in the township. The 2022 approval, to which the announcement refers, is Resolution 749, adopted by a 3-2 vote, which commissioners voted against. 2 of them did. The resolution names the site for the project, 370 Evans Road, Bethlehem-based Alloy 5 as the chief architect and construction manager, and a cost target of $5.5 million, which most estimates show has already been exceeded by about $3 million. So they haven't started building yet, but they're already over budget. The resolution also empowers commissioners, chairman, to make decisions and execute documents related to the construction and completion of the township municipal building as may be required during the design and completion of same. Since that resolution was passed, opposition to the project has been growing among residents who have attended meetings to ask questions and make their opposition known. The 3-commissioner majority has pressed forward the project despite all of that. Volunteer public officials on the Open Space Committee, Zoning Hearing Board, and even the deputy tax collector who have spoken out against the project have been denied reappointment or threatened with such to the boards on which they served. More recently, 2 of the people received letters from the township police threatening them with removal from public meetings or legal action. They continue to speak up in a way that they feel is a violation of the meeting rules. So they're not saying you can't speak, they just don't want you violating the rules, and I don't know if that's happened or not. But the point is that they were told this is open space. This is going to be open space owned by the municipality. And then they're saying, okay, now we're going to build something there, which means it's no longer going to be open space. I mean, most people think of open space as space which is open. I don't know, underlying this, what the legal basis was to call it open space. And the reason I'm saying that is this. I know that quite often property transfers with conditions, okay? So if you buy a house, okay, and you own it free and clear, it doesn't come with a lot of conditions, although the mineral rights might belong to somebody else. But I know, for instance, there's a town in Michigan called Howell, Michigan. And it's northwest of Detroit a little ways. Nice little town. And a bunch of cool businesses there. And right downtown Howell is this beautiful old courthouse. Gorgeous courthouse. Right out of the movies. It almost looks black and white. It's that old and romantic looking of a courthouse. And yet, if you get called to court in Howell, more likely than not, you're going to be sent to a judicial complex outside of town. And you go, okay, Steve, the courthouse is no longer being used as a courthouse. Oh, no, it is. It is. You see, the people who donated that land to Howell, right there in downtown Howell, donated it, and this is my understanding, a long time ago with the stipulation that we're going to donate this to the village, city, whatever it was at the time, to make a courthouse and put a courthouse on it, okay? As long as it is a courthouse and used as a courthouse, it belongs to Howell. As soon as they stop using it as a courthouse, it reverts back to our heirs, whoever our heirs might be at that point in time. So, the courthouse is still there, and they conduct some courthouse activities there. They found out exactly what the minimum is they need to do, and they do that. So if you go to Howell today, the judicial complex outside of town is where the circuit court is, where the district court is. All that stuff's out there. I believe the police are out there. Jails are out there. But there's that beautiful courthouse in downtown Howell, which is functioning on some level as a courthouse. But it's simply not the primary courthouse. And, of course, the rules didn't say it had to be the primary courthouse. It just said so long as you use it as a courthouse, you can keep the property. As soon as you stop using it as a courthouse, the property reverts. And they don't want that to happen. And it turns out now it's, of course, an extremely valuable piece of property because it's right downtown and it's a big, big space. It's a big, big chunk of land. So I don't know all of the ins and outs about how this land was acquired. And I think I heard someplace that it was acquired with money that was raised to buy the property. That is, if we don't buy this property, a developer might buy it, for instance, and put in a subdivision. Okay, so by buying it, we can keep a subdivision from being put in. Until, of course, we put in this municipal complex, in which case a lot of people are unhappy. So we'll see what happens, but as of right now, it's an emergency injunction sought as Upper Pottsgrove starts construction on the new town hall in the open space that they had acquired previously. Ray, thanks for sending that. We'll see what happens. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. In the middle of a difficulty lies opportunity.